Does this look like the face of somebody who is tapering like a boss? Actually, it's a kind of yes and no answer, because the answer isn't as simple as one or the other. If you've been following the journey, then you'll know that I am injured and we have 2.5 weeks left until the Seville Marathon. Ironically, Mary is also ill.
I'm not very well.
Which means neither of our tapers have gone anywhere near what we want to happen. But what I'm here to tell you is that a taper is not just a physical thing, it's a very, very psychological thing. And what I want to do is share with you some of the tips that I'm using to get me and Mary through our taper that really have nothing to do with the physical side of our training. I do need to cross the road and not die though, so just bear with me 1 second. So while I suffer with Achilles tendonitis, and by the way, I am getting out the other side of it and I'm going to be trying a run very soon, Mary's picked up this horrible, flu-y, chesty cough that's laid her up as well, and it really has dropped her out of a lot of her most recent sessions. So there are a lot of ways that you can make it through an imperfect taper like a boss, but what I want to share with you is the way that I'm employing with me and Mary, and it comes from a book I've been recently reading. So this book here is called How Bad You Want It by Matt Fitzgerald. It's something that I'm reading at the moment. I'm only at the very start of it really. I've only read a few chapters, but it is really helping inform the decisions I make going into my taper, and it's really helping my mindset approach my taper. But before I can tell you what my mindset is about the taper, I guess I have to show you the taper and Mary's taper, because neither of the tapers are the same as they were when we started this whole training plan, because our training hasn't gone exactly to plan. But one of the best things, one of the first pieces of advice I'd offer you when you're going into a taper is be absolutely adaptable. But let's see what my taper was, what it is now. I won't beat around the bush. In my ideal situation, I'd given myself a 3-week taper because that's how I responded best in the past. There weren't big miles in it either. It was a decent reduction into the run, but no, that's screwed. I've missed these 2 runs entirely, and I'm aiming for 10 kilometers on Sunday, and from there I'm actually building to near a half marathon the week before, and then chill and really reduce the miles for just that 1 week. It is mind over matter, people. And I've only written down the running taper there, but what you'll have to remember is that I'm also swimming and cycling every other day that I'm not running, pretty much, other than my 1 rest day. Mary's is a bit different because she's got most of her mileage in during the lead up, and she's only really missed her last long run. The miles are already in her legs, so although she missed Tuesday's run, and actually she missed the 10k on Thursday, there's still miles to keep her ticking over and a reduction into the race, and she'll also still do strength and conditioning twice a week. Okay, I know what you're thinking, why has he changed clothes? And it's because I don't like being in work clothes all evening, and can he get to the point please? And sure, I'm going to get to the point of my taper, your taper, anyone that's tapering, or how you perceive your race and training in general, and it struck me when I was reading this book. Now, in the book is a chapter where it talks about something called the psychobiological theory of training, which was devised by a guy called Samuel Marcora. And his theory is that exhaustion for us occurs in real world settings like marathons and Ironmen, not when our bodies reach their hard physical limits like muscle glycogen depletion or glucose depletion in the blood. It's not the physical limit that causes exhaustion, it's when we perceive our effort to be higher than we can tolerate. So when we're working harder than we think we can, or we think we can't go anymore, that's when exhaustion occurs and our bodies stop working. And how do we know that it is our minds and not our bodies stopping us? Easy. They took lab rats like you and me, and they put us in a lab, and they worked us until absolute exhaustion, or what we perceived to be exhaustion, and then they electrically stimulated the muscles to prove that those muscles could still work if only the person that owned the muscles wanted to. Which is quite refreshing when you think about it, that every single one of us has more in the tank than we believe, and our life should be about slowly changing how we perceive our effort so that we can eke a little bit more out of ourselves each time. So how am I going to take that into the marathon? Well, as you've seen from my training, it hasn't gone to plan at all. In fact, my longest run was 26 kilometers and I really wanted to do about 34. I've lost a lot of time running. My cardiovascular system is absolutely fine because A, I'm still carrying on my swimming twice a week, and B, every day I am not swimming, I'm on the turbo, or I'm at least out and about on my bike, making sure that my cardiovascular system is in tip-top, so when it gets to the marathon, it could well just be a matter of mind versus muscle, simple as that. So how does it apply to me? Well, in a real world setting, this is just going to be all about me running the marathon on the day with little to no training, but using the psychobiological model to know that my muscles have way more than my mind is telling me. So my mind is going to tell me that I'm in a lot of pain. My mind is going to tell me that I'm working too hard, that my perceived effort is too high, and I'm going to try and rewire what my perceived effort is on the day and get myself through it like that. But I am only going to do it, by the way, if I know for 100% I am not going to spanner up the rest of my season, because I do have London Marathon after that. I do have Ironman Copenhagen, which is my A race. And rather excitingly, look what happened at the back end of last week. That's right, we're on the waiting list for the New York Marathon and couldn't be more excited. But the last thing I want to say about a taper is this: if you get to a taper in good nick, then you could do absolutely nothing between the start of the taper and the race day and still be fine. The biggest mistake people make is they overtrain in their taper rather than undertrain, because that is your time to relax, it is your time to recover, it is your time to freshen up, and the mind plays wicked mind games with you. Ignore all of that. You'll be fine. You'll shed the fatigue come race day, but it's a process. And whether you're tapering for 1, 2 or 3 weeks, you have to stay the course and you have to make sure you don't cram an extra couple of sessions in, because they are the sessions that could really spanner your race up. Because let's face it, the biggest task we all have in endurance events is getting ourselves to the start line in the first place. I'm testament to that, right? I don't know what's coming Tuesday, I don't know what's coming Sunday, but you know, stay tuned and I'm sure it will be something. I was about to say I'm sure it'll be exciting, but I can't even say that. I don't know. See you next week.